Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm so glad you could join me. What I'm doing today is a Christmas look. So if you're curious to see what products I used to get this look, then let's get into the video. Hi everybody, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Mel, and I'm so glad you could join me on my channel. So today, as you can see, I'm in a bit of a different setting. I'm actually in my living room where we set up our Christmas tree, and I thought it would be kind of nice to do my Christmas glam look, which I'm doing today, in front of the Christmas tree. So that's where we're at. So we're just gonna get right into it. So I'm gonna do my look a little bit different today. I'm gonna start with my eyes because usually when I try and do a glam look, I end up having some fallout from the eyeshadow and that sort of thing, and that just ends up on my foundation. So I wanna first start with the eye look today, and then we'll go into doing our face prep. The only thing I'm going to do first is put the primer on, and that's gonna give it time to set into my skin before we start that. So today I'm just going in with the e.l.f. Illuminating Face Primer. And I wanted to try this one today because I want more of a, I guess, a dewy, glowy look going on for glam. So I'm just going to apply that first. And you don't need a lot of this one. It really has a lot of light reflecting particles in it. You can probably, I don't know if the camera can really pick it up, but yeah, you can just, leaves you such a nice glowy look. And I'm also going to prime under my eyes. Now I don't want to use that same primer underneath my eyes because it has those particles in it, which is just going to accentuate all my fine lines. So I'm just going to go in with my Master Prime Maybelline one and put a little bit underneath my eyes. And that just helps your concealer stay on better and just smooths everything out underneath your eyes. And we're just going to get our hair out of the way. So that is done. I also am going to be using the tape method today because I want to do a wing liner, and you know that I can't stand doing a wing liner without some tape. So if you don't know what the tape method is, and this also helps try and keep your eyeshadow in this area here. So when you start developing hooded eyes, what happens is if you go too far down here with the eyeshadow, it actually makes your eyes look droopier. So I want to try and keep it nice and crisp and right where my eyebrow and my corner of my eye meet. That's where I want to keep the eyeshadow. So I'm just going to apply the tape. I'm just using, this is just like Scotch tape. Luckily I have a whole bunch from wrapping parcels. And I know this looks funny when you have it on, but it will help. That is for sure. I'm also going to prime my eyelid a little bit with some concealer. I don't have an eyelid, like an eyeshadow primer. So I just use concealer and I put a little bit on there, and that's just gonna help the eyeshadow stay in place. And I'm gonna just blend it in with my fingers today. Okay, so now that is all blended in. I'm gonna first go in with the transition shade, and this is in the shade Fresh Beige, and this is going to be from my Lise Watier palette. So that's gonna be this one right here. So this is gonna be a bit of a combination of some drugstore products and also a few higher end products, but I still consider them drugstore just because I buy all these products at the drugstore that I shop at. So that's why I kind of consider them that they're drugstore. But Lise Watier, if you're not familiar with the brand, that's what the nice palette looks like. And I've shown you guys this before if you've seen it on my channel. It's such a beautiful eyeshadow palette. One of my favorites. It's a Canadian brand, but it's like a higher end Canadian brand. So I just want to first start off with a nice transition shade, really light. And I take that usually all over my lid and right up kind of into my brow bone area. Let me know in the comments below if you guys are all ready for Christmas. Hopefully when I think I'm going to be putting this out just on the weekend right before Christmas. So I'm hoping I'm going to be all done what I need to do. But there's always, you know, like those last minute details that always need to be done. So I'm going to try and keep this more neutral eye today because I am going to be having a bold lip today. So I always try and complement the whole look. So if you have a bold eye, going with like more of a neutral lip, and then if you have a bold lip, just kind of going with a neutral eye, and that just helps keep the whole look nice and complementary. So I'm going to use a few different shades today, so I'm curious to see how this is going to turn out. I'm trying to kind of like keep it a Christmassy look, but I don't want to go too overboard. So the next one I'm going to go in is with this shade right here, this burgundy shade. And that is called Porphyry. I don't know, I'm probably not saying it right, but we're going to go with that. And I'm just dabbing, like literally, I am just going to dab my brush in there. I don't want a lot of color, and make sure you always tap it off. I'm just going to lightly go in. These are very pigmented eyeshadows, and I'm just running it along my crease area. And I'm not taking it like right into the inner corner of my eye. I'm just trying to keep it about halfway to 3/4. And I'm using a combination of like the windshield wiper method and then also circular, and that just helps keep all of your eyeshadows blended. This shade was about the closest one I could come to having more of like a red, so I thought it was close enough. It's like a deep plum shade. Yeah, I thought it would be a nice change, even though it's a lot of work when I have to bring the studio, if I have to move it somewhere. It's like I had my husband and my son and his girlfriend, they all help bring it down into the living room, because it's a lot of work to move it around. And also my son is coming back home for Christmas for a few weeks, so I usually use his bedroom as my little studio area. So I'm trying to film a whole bunch of videos so that I can kind of dismantle that for the time that he's here, and he can have some room to move around in his room. Yeah, I think that looks pretty. I think that's a nice, it's not too much. When you have more of a hooded eye, you want to try and keep those dark colors to the outer part of your eye. And as I was going through all my eyeshadow palettes, I wanted just a little bit of a green. So the only green I have throughout all of my palettes is, this is the e.l.f. Rose Gold palette. And there is kind of like a dark forest green, that one right there. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to apply that to the outer, just on that outer edge again. And I'm literally just dabbing my brush in there. The thing about eyeshadow is you can always apply a little bit at a time. You can always build it up. But if you go in with too much, it's really hard to try and take those colors away. And I just want to put it right on the outer part. See, I'm already getting fallouts. That's why I wanted to do this before I put my foundation on. And I'm just concentrating that right on the outer corner. And that's why this tape is helping, because now that color actually be going down past my eye. I'm just bringing it through again, and I'm taking it just slightly above my crease area. Okay, so now that all of those are applied, I've applied that nice deep burgundy shade and also that green shade. I use my Real Techniques. This is just like a blending brush, and I try and keep this one on the cleaner side. And I use this just to make sure everything now has been blended in on both eyes. Yeah, I think they look nice together, the green and the plum. It's not too much. Look at all that fallout from that one e.l.f. shade. And that's why I try and, when I'm doing a look like this, I don't do my face first. So the next one I'm going to be using is a new product. Really excited to try it because I don't normally use liquid eyeshadows at all. This is the first time I've ever bought a liquid eyeshadow. So this is the Lise Watier. This is the shade Moonlight. Oh my goodness, that's so pretty. So I've just taken a little bit of that. So I'll just show you what it looks like here. Very, very pretty. It's like a gold shade. And I'm using that same product that's on the back of my hand. And I'm using that and just using my fingertip to put it on. But that's very pretty. Nice and glittery. I didn't know what to expect. I maybe could have put it on with just as a regular liner. Let's see how this looks. Hopefully it's not too much. I'm just going to put a tiny bit on and then I'll put it on with my fingertips. And then I'm just going to blend it in with my finger. Oh, that's very nice. Not at all what I was expecting. I've never, like I said, I've never used liquid eyeshadow before. So that's very cool. There's a little bit of the glitter is kind of falling out under my eye there, so that's fine. I'll wipe it up later when I'm done. So now that my eyeshadow's put on, I'm going to go in with some eyeliner. And I'm just using the Lancome. This is called Artliner. And I have this in the shade. I have the box right here. It's called shade Chocolate. And with this one, you need to shake it before you apply it. But I like the tip on this one. It's a really unique looking tip. And I find it's just really nice and precise. And I'm bringing it right close to my lash line. And I'm going to stop kind of where that tape is. And I'm going to bring it up a little bit to make just a little wing. And I'm using liquid today. I don't normally use liquid. It's not my favorite to work with. As my eyes are getting older, it's harder to see as you're putting liquid eyeliner on. But when you use glitter eyeshadow and that sort of thing, it's really hard for like a pencil eyeliner to stick. So that's why I was going with liquid today. Plus I'm going to be wearing false eyelashes, so I like using a liquid eyeliner when I wear false eyelashes. Okay, so that one didn't turn out too bad. I'm just going to do the other one off camera, and then I'll show you what it looks like when I take the tape off. Okay, so both eyes are done now. I'm going to take the tape off, and then I'll clean up all that fallout. See how it leaves just nice, like a nice crisp line, and then we'll clean all that up. So I'm just taking a makeup remover wipe. I'm just going to clean up all that fallout under my eye. And I also am going to clean up some of that glitter that fell in the corner of my eye, because that just accentuates all those little lines. And now what we'll do after that is once I get all the foundation, everything on, I'll clean up the, like, I don't want that really harsh looking line from where the tape was, so we'll clean that up after. But first we're going to go in and do my eyebrows. And I literally, since I showed this to you guys, this is that Maybelline Brow Ultra Slim. Since I showed this to you, I think it was like a couple of videos ago, I literally have been using this every day. I'm probably going to need a new pencil by the end of the month. I absolutely love it. It is a great pencil. And I'm so glad I found it, because I hadn't used a Maybelline eyebrow pencil before. I feel bad for there's my L'Oreal one and my CoverGirl one that I used to use all the time, and they're like sitting in the container going, please pick me. But it is such a nice shade, and then it just keeps all my brow hairs in place all day. Okay, so now that the brows are done, I'm going to do a little bit of color correcting today, because I want that dark pigmentation under my eye not there. So I'm just going in. This is my Lise Watier portfolio, and I have this in the shade, that's a good question, it's called Peche. And with this one, I just put a little bit right where I'm the most darkest, and then I blend it in with my fingertip, and the warmth of my finger just kind of helps it settle better into my skin. And for foundation today, I'm going to go in with my Clinique Beyond Perfecting, and I have this in the shade Alabaster. And this one, you don't need a lot initially to put it on, so I'm just going in with that much first, and just using my L'Oreal sponge and blending it all in. This just gives you a really nice coverage, and you can always build it up if you want more of a fuller coverage. And then for concealer today, I'm just going to go in with the Lancome Effacernes. I believe that's what it's called. I know it's probably not the right pronunciation. And this I'm using this directly under my eye area, and then I'm going to use a different concealer to highlight, because you can't really highlight with this one just because it does come in this little tube. Apply it with my fingertip. And this is a really nice concealer. It doesn't leave a lot of creasing under my eyes, which I really appreciate. And then for just a general highlighting, I'm going to go in with the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear, and this is in the shade Bisque. And I'm also going to do a little bit of coverage just on these spots right here, just a tiny little bit, because this actually works really well on those spots. And then I'm just going to highlight and blend that all in. And that foundation, the Clinique foundation, really does leave a nice, it's almost like an airbrushed look. I did a first impression video on it quite a while ago, but I've really warmed up to it. It's quite a beautiful foundation. And see how it does, I mean, you can kind of still see, but yeah, that concealer does a good job of covering little brown spots, or if you have any blemishes, that sort of thing. It's really good for that. I'm leaving my eyes, putting on my lashes till last, because I am filming a bunch of stuff today and I don't want to be having to deal with the lashes later on, because sometimes they do have a tendency when you're wearing lashes, as I'm sure a lot of you know, sometimes they just start coming away from the edge, and it doesn't matter how much glue I use. So I'm trying to leave them till last. All right, and then I'm going to use 2 powders today, just because this one, I really like the Marcelle, the Luminous, but because it has that luminosity on it, I don't want to use that directly under my eye, again, for that same reason where I just don't want anything being accentuated. So I'm just going to take a little bit, it's just a loose powder, and I'm applying that just directly where I put that highlighter, not a lot right now because my skin is really dry. It really does kind of have a luminous look to it. I'm really liking that glittery eyeshadow. It's really pretty. Okay, so I use that, and then I'm just going to take my Maybelline, sorry, I should have showed you before. This is just the Maybelline Fit Me. I have this in the shade Fair Light, and I'm taking just a tiny, tiny little bit under my eye area, like literally just like a tiny bit. And I just want to set that concealer in place for the day. Okay, so then we're going to go in with bronzer. And I'm really, really good. I haven't shown you guys this bronzer in a really long time, even though it's my favorite. So this is the Marcelle. This is in the shade Amazon Heat. And that's what it looks like inside. I've been trying to use other blushes and bronzers and all that sort of stuff, but this bronzer is still my absolute favorite. So we got to use it today. And I always like to go in with just like a really light hand first, and then I can always build it up a little bit. And I run it along my temples, up along my forehead. And then I always make sure to just run it down my neck area so everything blends. We're going to do a little bit of contouring today as well. I don't know why my cheeks are so red today. It is not, I think it's the sweater. I'm just getting hot. Or it could just be a hot flash, who knows. Okay, and then I'm going to just apply a little bit of blush today. Not that I need it with these pink cheeks that I got going here. I'm just going in with my Maybelline Master Contour Kit. And I'm using just the blush that's in the middle there. It's well used. Yes, it is. It's a really pretty rosy color. So I'm just taking a little bit and I'm applying it more farther back on my cheek, right into my hairline. And I'm going to do a little bit of contouring today. So I'm just using the Maybelline City Bronzer Contour. It's a bronzer and a contour, but I like it because it's a nice flat matte color. When you're doing contouring, you don't want to have a shimmer shade. You want it to be matte. And I don't normally contour, but this is more of a glam look, so I'm just gonna place it. The best thing to do is you don't want to make more wrinkles around your mouth, but sometimes you kind of have to. So you want to go like that, and you want to follow where your cheekbone is. So I put a little bit on first, and I do it right up close, and then I push up right into that hollow of your cheek. I don't know if you can see on the camera, it kind of gives that illusion where this is more contoured and this side isn't, hence why it's called contouring. And I personally like to just kind of stick it. My tree lights just went out, but I will turn them back on in a second. I don't like to bring it right down into my cheek area. I try and keep it high up. That's right where your bone is, right underneath that. And I'm just going to take a little bit right under my jawline, very lightly. And I know I did this with bronzer, but I'm just trying to take that flatter shade and just run it along my hairline. We're gonna look nice and bronzy, even though I am nowhere near the sun today. It is pouring rain outside right now. I can hear it banging against my kitchen window. And I'm not gonna bother with contouring my nose today. I don't usually have to do that anyhow. So we'll skip that. And then for highlighter today, I don't use this one a lot, but it is a really, really pretty highlighter. It's from Lise Watier. And I have this, it's called a Havana Trio highlighter. And it's just some really, really pretty gold and like a pinky color. And so for today, because we're kind of gonna keep with the gold color theme going, we'll go in with that shade right there. And I'm just using my Real Techniques fan brush. And what I like about this one is, especially I'm trying to do more of a subtle highlight, which you know I like my highlighters, but this one is a very subtle highlighter. And then there is days where I just like to have more of a bold highlight, and I use that Maybelline Master Chrome one. And I take just a little bit here, and I'm just trying to keep it right on my cheekbone area, because I know by the end of the day, all my fine lines, it starts creeping into those fine lines, and that's why they recommend for older women not to wear a powder highlighter, but you know, I like my powder highlighters. And then I'm gonna run it down my nose, Cupid's bow. All right, so now we're gonna finish off the eye look. So I want to tight line under my top lashes first before I put the falsies on, because I don't want to disturb the lash line. So this is just my Lise Watier Intense Waterproof Eyeliner, and I have this in Blackest Black. But this one is awesome for not budging at all. Like, this is really waterproof. I know a lot of people are hesitant about doing this because you're going to poke yourself in the eye, but I just kind of roll it around right underneath my eyelash area. And see how it just makes your eyelashes look a little bit fuller without really having to do anything to them. So for mascara today, I'm just going in with the Lancome Hypnose Drama. So I've used this once since I got it in that, since I bought it for that gift pack that I showed you the last time. And this is what it looks like. It's just like, this is like it's not really a trial size. It's just a smaller version of their full size. And what I really like about it is the wand is quite unique. It's a really unique wand. And the bristles, from the first time I used it, really grasp every lash. So, and I'm not going to bother, because I'm wearing falsies today, I'm not going to bother with curling my lashes. But it's a really nice formula. It really does catch all of the lashes. Okay, so that's a really nice mascara. I liked how this was just one coat and how nice it looks. So I'm going to go in with the Ardell Foam Ink. I'm using a different style this time because when I usually like those wispy ones, which they have a bit of an angle at the end. But the only problem with that is sometimes when you do have more of a hooded, or a droopy eye, that can kind of tend to bring your eye look down, like a downward look. So I wanted to try a different style this time where these ones are quite like a flare in the middle. So I want to see if that's going to kind of open my eyes up a little bit more. So I'm going to go put those on off camera and I will be right back. Okay, so now that the lashes are on, I'm just going to go in and do a little bit of my lower lash line. So I'm going to go in with that plum shade that I used earlier and do as close to my lash line as possible. And I'm only going to go about halfway. And then I'm going to take a little bit of that green from the e.l.f. palette. And I'm just going to take that Real Techniques brush and I'm going to pinch the bristles together and just kind of soften this up a bit. I'm just going to soften a little bit of where that tape was earlier. And then I'm going to go in do my inner waterline, and this is just the L'Oreal Infallible. I have this in the shade Nude Beige, and this is a waterproof eyeliner to use in your waterline. And then I'm just going to finish off doing my lower lashes with the same mascara. And then I want more of a bolder inner eye area at the corner of my eye. I'm going to use the Maybelline Face Studio Chrome Extreme. And I have this in the shade Sparkling Citron. I'm just going to use, this is a lip defining brush, but I intertwine my brushes all the time to do different things. So this one is just really precise. And I'm just going to pack it on right in the very corner. So it gives me a really bold look. I don't want to come too far down into my inner corner. And I'm taking that same highlighter and I'm going to burn it right underneath my brow bone. Because we're trying to stay with that gold theme we got going on today. All right, so here comes the scary part. So you guys know that I never use like bold colors. I think the only time I ever used like a red color was for my Halloween outfit that I had going. So this is that Lancome. Like, look at how red that is. Oh my goodness. So this is the shade Red Stiletto. So because I don't use red lip colors all the time, I don't really have like a lip liner, so I'm just going in with this, like it's more of like a plum shade. So I'll use that and then use the red lippy. Okay, so here goes. Let's see how this looks. That's pretty red. Yep. But I can tell the nice thing about this red is that it is more of a cool toned red, so that it is very good for, like, it has like a bluey tinge to it, so that's good when you have cool toned skin like myself. Yeah, it just helps complement your skin tone and the color, the red color, so that's nice. So final step is the NYX Dewy Finish setting spray. And then what I like to do when it's setting, I take that sponge and I just kind of press it in. So this is the completed look. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it. This was kind of out of my comfort zone, especially with the glittery eyeshadow and the bold red lip. But I actually really like the red lip. It's something that I don't usually do. I kind of don't do more bold lips just because I know that dark colors can kind of bleed out into your fine lines, and when you're older you do have a lot more fine lines around your mouth area, so it can bleed out. And you can definitely tell, like, if you don't outline your lip properly, you can really see any of those discrepancies. So that's why I kind of stick to more neutral shades. But yeah, I don't mind this look. I hope everybody has a very Merry Christmas. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you enjoy whatever festivities you have planned. And before I leave you guys, I hope you subscribe to my channel if you aren't so already, and give this video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And as always, I hope everybody has a great week and a great life, and I'll see you all very soon in my next video. Bye.